Hey Mars, how's it going? It was so nice talking to you yesterday. Um, it was fun. Thank you for wanting to talk to me. Um, well, I do appreciate it because it's nice to hear your voice, and I know that you're doing good. Hopefully, I didn't mess up your time to play games. You know, I know that's important too. Well, last few days have been interesting. I've been putting a lot of things together in my head anyway. It's been pretty crappy weather out here. Um, did some work in the house, but at the same time, um, I've been doing, um, I guess you could call it, I've been putting things together in a way in my brain. I noticed a lot of things that hadn't noticed before. The mind is a very interesting thing. I already talked to you about how elastic it is, but it's also, it's like if you and I dropped onto the planet's surface, right? Say, I don't know, Mars, anywhere. We would start mapping it out. We wouldn't exactly know what to expect, right? So our brains are the same way, or our minds, I should say, specifically. Um, I was talking to a professional about that, and also doing my own homework. And it's interesting that, for instance, one thing I learned is that just because you probably notice that sometimes we do nice things for others, right? We I don't know, we volunteer or give them food or this or that or raise money for them, whatever, whatever good thing that you can come up with. Well, that's not. Interestingly enough, that's only one section of your brain doing, or your mind doing the process. There's this other part that could be stagnant, so to speak, or that has not been discovered, that is waiting for you to map it. And that's the part, for instance, for me, I'm working on that. I noticed that I was very neglectful of that side. As you probably seen the last few years living under the same roof with me, right? You know, uh, um, there's things that I've been pretty horrible with, right? You probably noticed. Um, one thing that comes to mind is being upset for no reason, right? Um, those are things that I was too lazy to look into the source of why I was doing that, right? I just took it at face value and was lazy and didn't do anything about it. Well, what's interesting is that you don't you don't have to stay that way, or you don't have to be that way. You actually can look at the cause, which sounds simple enough, right? But it's about also training the mind to acquire these new settings and to learn to do something which is totally the opposite of what you were doing, right? And that's not it's not something that happens overnight, but a lot of people don't have that. Or what I mean is that they might be really nice people, but they just they either ignore that part of them that keeps on telling them that there's something wrong. As obviously with me, there was that part, right? Um, that's why I'm using myself as an example, because it's to me it's interesting that I could be nice to other people, but to you or your mom, I wasn't very nice. So there's two things right there, two different areas. So now I'm hitting those targets where I can actually grow from. Because at first I thought I needed to terminate them, you see. But that's the interesting part. It's not about terminating, it's about locating, mapping. It's sort of like a reconnaissance or a scouting mission, you see. Um, you go in, you take a stock of what the situation is, and report back to the rest of your brain, or I'm sorry, or your mind. And because a lot of these things are done subconsciously, it's sort of like dreaming, right? Um, so that you, if you're not seeking actively, and that's the word, the key word, right? Active, to be active in seeking these places that are obscure and that need to be mapped out and get an assessment from them, then you continue to be like I was, you see. So anyway, I'm telling you this because maybe one day that will come to your attention, that you, maybe you'll notice yourself doing something that might be, negative in some sense. And you might want to touch on it where you need to think about what's really causing that. Doesn't mean that you're not generous, that you're not a decent person in other ways. It just means that a part of you needs to be mapped out and you need to take action upon what you find there, you see. So to end my whatever the hell I'm doing, as you know, hopefully I don't bore you, but maybe this, as I said before, this will not make sense. Maybe not today, but maybe one day. Is that we need to continue mapping our minds, seeking out what's ineffective or what's not working, and actively seeking to adapt the area, or adopt, I should say, the area of the mind that it's negative or has an issue, and convert it or process it into something that is, or that you are happy with. It could be anything. I mean, as I said, I mean, in my case, I have examples of how I treated you and your mom, right? That's one. Anyway, but today, before I forget, and this is the point, I was thinking about my dad, and we haven't had the best relationship, and I finally decided to take command of that operation, which is scary. It scares the fuck out of me. But, and you might ask why, but well, remember how I told you that you have my permission to talk back to me in a way if it's necessary. If I cross the line for any reason, you got my permission to, as a subordinate, to take command of the operation and say, hey dad, that's not good. Because you do, as my team member, as my backup, as the person watching my back, you have my permission to do that. I know that you're young, but as you grow older, that's one of the requirements to be my team member. So, given saying that, what I was saying before was that how my dad is being difficult, but I'm just being taking command of operations. And to be honest, it feels so much better. And I'll talk to you about it, about what I mean by taking command. It's not as if I'm telling everyone what to do. It just means that I have a strategy and I'm willing to work with those involved to make that strategy work, right? It's like playing a game and getting everybody involved, not everyone plays at the same level, blah blah blah. We all gotta, you know, have a learning curve, blah blah blah. Anyway, um, so I went to visit my dad today, just you know, and he asked about you, and obviously, so, and your mom, and you know, just talked to him for a little bit. But it's something that I wrote on my book or on my notes, was to approach the operation as an operation and actually take command and take responsibility for making contact and progress in a systematic way, so that whatever was the past, I can't help the past, right? I can't go back. I made mistakes, he made mistakes. I can only accept him as he is now. And, you know, I think that's the point, that I just can't live like this anymore. So I'm doing everything that I can to make that a decent operation. So I'm gonna schedule time to go see him, and you're gonna go with me. I want you to, you know, it's part of my effort to get you to know your family, because we're all scattered. There's not much left in El Salvador, but here you have your grandfather. You can go see him at least once a week. We actually, you know, I told you that you know, it's a blur now. I'm sorry that I told you that I was going to take you to camp on Friday, but we actually, instead, we're gonna change those plans, and we're gonna go hang out with your grandfather, and we'll take it from there. You are part of this operation, and I think it'll be good for you. You'll have an enjoyable time with them. I'm gonna go with you guys and go do stuff. We gotta go look at a job on Friday, blah blah blah. So the thing is, we'll be together and we'll be doing stuff, and that's that. It's fucking scary, to be honest, because I don't know. Anyway, but that's who we are, and that's the point. Before something else happens, I want you to learn these things. It's important. It's important for you to know these things. I know it's, once again, just keep it in the back of your mind. One day you'll know what I mean, but we'll be doing these things. All right, that's all I wanted to say. It's still very convoluted. I could break it down a little better, but you gotta understand that this is all fresh in my mind, and I'm processing as I'm doing. So, what the fuck? Field. You know, there was a saying that when you're in the confines of a place like this, you can plan all you want, but once you get dropped off somewhere, every plan falls apart. It all depends on the people and your training and your ability to survive. And you know, I'm gonna talk about survival in a different way another time, but anyway, I'll let you go. I hope that you have a good night and you take care of your mom and your family. That's your job. Be thoughtful. That means that you actively have to be thinking about others and not yourself. That's who we are. So I'm very proud of you, because I know that you listen and you're a smart young man, or intelligent, I should say. And you have a nice, bright mind that will continue to be elastic and continue to grow. So with that said, I love you, I miss you, can't wait to see you. Have a good night.